Hey there YouTube, this is SJM4306 back with another review video. This time we're going to be looking at another product from iPazzPort. Now they've sent me a number, probably like 3 or 4 of their famous wireless keyboards, which are like the really small pocketable ones, which are like absolutely fantastic for using like around the office for giving presentations, as well as for my media center PC. I love using that. It's so much better than using any other kind of remote. So I use them pretty much religiously almost every day. And they sent me another product. And when I heard it wasn't a keyboard, I was actually frankly interested because I know how they design their keyboards. I know what their quality is for that, but I've never seen any of their products that deal with like audio or like microphones. So I was actually really interested. And they said this is a wireless lav mic, which I could definitely use 100%. Because I'm just yelling at my phone right now with no mic. So anyway, it says it has noise reduction, clear sound, so there's going to be some sound processing. That'll be interesting to see how that handles bass, mids, and highs. And it says suitable for a variety of occasions to meet your diverse requirements. Now, there is going to be a small problem with this, and you'll see it right here. They sent me the Lightning version and not the Type C. Now, my phone, I only have Android phones, I'm not going to lie. So all of them will have Type C connectors or older, but none of them will have Lightning. The only device that I have that has Lightning is this really old iTouch. And yeah, this is like a 5th gen one, I believe. And the camera on this isn't going to be so great, but I'm going to see if maybe I can use this maybe to record some video snippets and me talking, with this. So the video clearly on this unit is going to look nowhere near as good as what I'm filming on right now, which is a S20 Ultra. But it should be able to get across what the audio quality of, captured audio is. Anyway, we have smart noise cancellation, real-time sound reception, 0.009 seconds, so 9 millisecond ultra low latency. That'll be interesting. I don't know how I would even possibly test that. 6 hours of working time. There's a rechargeable battery, I'm guessing, in the mic itself. Interesting. And sound and picture synchronization, and tiny and portable. Hopefully this doesn't require an app, because the thing is, about Apple devices, they only kind of update their software for so many generations. This guy is so old that it won't run on like the modern app store. It will barely run any apps, except for like very old ones, which I'm not even sure. I haven't actually connected this to the app store in like 5 years. So yeah, so if this requires an app, unfortunately, I don't think I will be able to test it with this. I might have to borrow a friend's iPhone in that case. But yeah, we have the box itself. We have some directions, which hopefully are in English. Yeah, this side's in English. Yeah, 90 milliamp hour battery. Charging time about 1 hour. Charging current 100 milliamps. So it's a pretty tiny battery. And maybe it's not a battery. Maybe it's a battery. Working time 6 hours. Yeah. Automatic connection after power on, etc., etc. And yeah. Instructions. I don't need no damn instructions. I'll figure it out myself. Anyway, we do have a Type-C connector here. What? Okay. But this is definitely Lightning. So that's, I guess, to charge this. Yeah. So interesting that they have a Lightning. So this is clearly marketed towards Apple users. And then there's a Type-C connector on the microphone itself, which is kind of funny. So yeah, that'll just plug in the side there. There's like this wind muffler thing. Let's pop that off real quick. There is like a little screen protecting the mic, so that's good to see. And this just kind of clips on. It was easier to pull it off than, there we go. There. So you got your little pop and windscreen filter. You have a little clip here. It's decently strong and it's pretty, sharp of an angle, so this will stay wherever you clip it, like my finger. And the unit itself is actually pretty small, and there's only control on it is this one button, which is power, and I guess the power indicator is up here. And this is it just has the iPazzPort logo on there. So yeah, pretty small. It weighs like next to nothing, so I think this will be pretty easy to forget you're even wearing it. And the other side, this has to plug into the phone. Looks like it has like a lanyard hole, so you don't lose it. No buttons or anything, but it does have a lightning connector on here, so I guess you could pass through charging. So that's actually a really good design idea. So like for instance, I have, where did it go? Oh, I have like this little magnetic charger here that just has a lightning connector. So that, for instance, would just go into here, and then your cord will go into there, and that plugs into your device. Boom. So yeah, pretty interesting. So I guess all that is left to do is I might have to charge this up and fire up the old iTouch and test out what the actual quality is. Okay, take two of me doing this because I did not realize, I just yelled at myself for like half an hour and I did not realize that I forgot to turn the mic on. So maybe that's another thing. Maybe make the power indicator on the mic a little more prominent than just like a single hole and an LED shining through that tiny little hole. But yeah, so now it's on. Okay, fine, good enough. So basically, I just did an entire rant about Apple and trying to get this damn iTouch to work and to get the data off of it so that I could, you know, show you guys what the audio sounds like. So first off, I was iCloud locked out because apparently I guess I changed my password and I signed up on this iTouch like ages ago when I first got it. And so it had the old password on it, so it requested the new one, and I couldn't remember it because I pretty much never use anything Apple anymore, with the exception of this apparently. So I had to reset it, which means I had to gain access to that old email that I never use anymore. So I was luckily able to do that. And so now I'm into my iCloud. I unlocked this. It fired up just fine, whatever. And then when I went to download like an app just to record audio, I was able to get into the App Store. This is running like iOS, I don't even know, 5, 6, something like that. It's like running such an old version that nothing will install to it. Basically, every app that I try to download gives me an error saying you're running too old of a version of iOS, update. But I cannot update because this is so old that Apple stopped supporting it like ages ago. So yeah, so I'm stuck on that front. So okay, fine. I'm just recording this as a video and you'll hear the audio through the video. I'll just cut the video portion out of it and I don't know, put like cat videos or something random in the background to entertain you guys while I rant about how freaking annoying this was to get working. So anyway, in addition to that, I had no idea how to get the data of the video off this because I never use this for video. I just use this as an MP3 player basically. And even then, I haven't used this in that capacity for a couple of years. So I don't know what computer I sync this to last. Otherwise, I would just plug in over USB and do like a full backup. And I know Apple likes to wipe things if you try to plug it into like a new computer for security reasons. So I don't want to do that. So the other option was within your video, you can forward it to yourself like in an email or using like a cloud service. None of those will work because the security certificates on this device are so old that they're insecure that basically I couldn't even Gmail myself the video or link to it or anything at all. So I'm stuck on that front. Luckily, Apple does have iCloud, and that's basically their own cloud service. And I do have it linked to this touch, so I am able to, send it to the cloud, and then on my computer just go to iCloud.com or whatever the URL was, and access it that way. But I didn't realize that you have to be on Wi-Fi, you have to have your phone locked, and it has to be charging. And all three of those things have to be true for it to back up your data. And to be fair, they do say that very clearly on the website. I just didn't realize it, and I was thinking, why the hell is my data not backing up? Is there a way to manually force it to? And no, there isn't, as far as I can tell. So yeah, this is sort of really freaking annoying, and I finally got the freaking data across. and you're listening to it now, and I have no idea how it sounds, and I'm kind of in an echoey large room, so apologies for that. I don't really have like a sound room, but finally got it done. But in retrospect, I think I'm being maybe a little harsh, because if I were to take one of my old phones, which is about the same age as this iTouch, and I tried to do the same thing on it, it would probably be at least a little bit frustrating. But I have a feeling it would still be significantly easier, because with Android, you can always just send a file like as an attachment. You don't have to like log into an email to do that. You could just send it out as long as you have access to the internet. You can just Bluetooth it across directly to a computer. There are just so many ways, and when you plug in over USB with Android, you can directly access the drive like as a removable drive. So I can directly go into the SD card. Oh, and that's another thing. I could just save it on the SD card, pop out the SD card and directly into my computer, do that. I have none of these options available on this iTouch. Anyway, yeah, sorry this turned into a mega rant, but I just had to get it out of my system, and it also killed two birds with one stone, gave you a chance to listen to the audio quality. So let's see how this turns out. Okay, I suppose I'm gonna have to do some sort of DankPod style story time. I mean, I guess that's how these things work. So yeah, one time I was a graduate student at a power electronics lab, and we were testing out. It was sort of a active power load, and it's a big old machine. That thing must weigh like 150 pounds, something like that, and it's fairly physically large too. They're normally meant to go in racks, but we just had it sitting on a desk, basically, like a big slab desk. And what happened was we were having some issues, so I was unplugging it, and we were trying to like rearrange some of the equipment to get things situated properly. And so one of the times I was unplugging it, now this beast is plugged into like not a standard household socket. It's a like a specialized connector that carries, I think it was like 3-phase, I don't know, 300 or 400 volts, something like that. And so when I was unplugging it one of the times, if you know how these things are built, there's usually like a pretty large capacitive bank on the like the DC link side. And so what had happened was when I was unplugging it, my finger slipped because it was at such an odd angle. I was like, reaching behind the machine to get to the power plug, which is plugged into like an outlet that's on the wall behind the machine. My finger slipped for just a moment, and I touched just the wrong contact, and all the energy that had been stored in that cap bank that hadn't bled yet was released through me, and that just about knocked me on my ass halfway across the room. Wow. And after that, for like a good, I think it was like an hour or two, my finger that touched it, like that arm, that finger was tingly. And it just felt, it was the oddest sensation. I've accidentally touched like 120 volts, like mains wiring, that kind of stuff. Never had a super serious situation where like I almost died, but that definitely feels weird. This was like weird max. And so it took quite a while for like the nerve sensation to like return normally. Luckily, no permanent damage, and it wasn't connected to me. The current path didn't go through my heart or anything like that. It was as far as I know, I didn't get any like internal burns or anything like that. So I'm fine. So I basically just learned not to like be doing shit blind in the lab there, and definitely just like make room so that if you're trying to plug something in or unplug it, that you have full line of sight, and make sure your fingers are where they're supposed to be and not where they're not supposed to be. So anyway, yeah, that was a fun experience. Okay, so you heard one or two recordings that I did, and the ranting about trying to use my iTouch again after so many years aside, what did I think of the audio quality? Now, that definitely could have an effect. The fact that this is such an old device, maybe the audio recording on the iTouch itself isn't so great. But unfortunately, I really didn't have any other way of testing. I don't own any iPhones, any like modern iPhones or anything like that. and it's a little bit awkward to ask to borrow someone's only phone so that you can record, audio tests for a product review. So yeah, I wasn't able to get my hands on like a modern iPhone to test for this, unfortunately. But just from the audio recording quality, assuming that the actual audio format and whatnot stripped from a video from this is a decent enough test, I did notice a few things about the audio recording. Now, the background noise slash hiss that you hear did seem to be a little bit higher. Now, I did have to boost the volume a little bit. It wasn't quite as loud as like the mic that I'm recording on right now that's built into my phone. So that definitely has an effect. If you have to boost your overall audio levels, then any noise that's present in the audio signal gets boosted as well. It's just how it works. So the noise floor wasn't particularly spectacular on this. The volume did seem a little bit low, and that just exacerbated that issue by having to amplify, to boost the audio level so that you could hear my voice clearly enough and loudly enough. That also made the background noise louder as well. So I wasn't too happy about that. As for like the comfort and convenience, this was actually fantastic for that. You just clip it on and it's so small and light, you forget about it. And the battery life, I mean, I only recorded for like maybe half an hour total, so I didn't really run this into the ground. But yeah, I generally don't record in very long stretches anyway, so this would be perfect for my needs. The only thing, like I said, is I really wish they'd sent me the Type-C version. Then I could have used it to record on the phone I'm using. Because as of right now, I kind of can't use this because I don't record my videos on an iPhone. So I might pop this open and see what's inside. Maybe there's a way, if I can get access to the data lines, I could just solder a USB-C connector on here. That would be fantastic. Then I can just convert this and use this. As for the like the pop filter, it has this like little foam thing. I kind of noticed maybe I just have like too wide of a dynamic range when I speak, but I noticed quite a few times that I would peak this the mic in this. Sometimes I speak too low, and then the automatic gain control compensates by increasing, and then all of a sudden I get loud, and that might have been what was going on. But I noticed quite a few times I was actually blowing out the levels on this, and it wasn't particularly nice to listen to in those situations. I also might have had this a little too close to my my mouth. I had this clipped to my your lapel, because it's basically like a lapel mic. I had it clipped to my collar on my shirt, and I was just speaking in a normal tone that I'm speaking at right now, kind of this kind of level of volume within actually the exact same room that I'm talking right now. And so I think I gave it a pretty fair chance. It does, maybe there's some work that needs to be put into like the automatic gain, and doing something about like the click pop suppression, if they can do something about that in software. I know that's the purpose of what this filter is, but it didn't seem to really help much. Another thing I really wish they did was this clip, please make it rotate. Basically, it has to be clipped on, perpendicular to where your face is or whatever. And you can't rotate this clip. So if you're doing it onto your collar and it's not in the right orientation, the mic might end up sideways or whatever. So I would just prefer if this had like a clip. This had like a little rotatey bit onto the clip so that you can rotate, even if you had to click it into position. If you could rotate the mic itself with respect to the clip, that would be far more useful, I think. Overall value, this is actually definitely on the cheaper side of the mics that I've seen. I forget what the listed price was, but I don't think it was much more than like 20 or 30 bucks, that's actually, let's be honest, that's really cheap for a wireless mic. I've seen some of like the really big name brand ones go up to like $300 plus. So yeah, I mean, obviously you get what you pay for it. So if you're like a budding vlogger or whatever, and you're just getting started out, and you don't want to be using your internal mic, maybe you're not anywhere near your camera, maybe you have multiple cameras set up and you just want to record audio separately, this might be a good idea if you're starting to get, you know, into bigger setups and more complex things you're doing, then maybe you might want to actually invest in a more expensive mic in that case. But I think this is good for people who are just starting out and don't want to drop a lot of money into it. So yeah, I guess all that's left is I kind of do really want to pop this open. So I guess I'm going to grab something flat and we'll see what's inside this. This looks like it's glued shut, so I'll probably destroy it opening it. So I'd prefer not to, but this looks like there is a gap already. So I should be able to just crack this open real quick. So give me 1 sec. Okay, this popped open really easily. So yeah. So we have just a tiny little board here. Looks like it's just kind of wedged in. Let's see, can I wiggle you out? Can I persuade you to come out? There we go. So yeah, we have our, let's get this out of shot. So we have our lightning connector on the top there. So it does look like they are labeled. There are test points for ground, DM, and DP, and B+. So that looks like standard USB. So I am really tempted now to just solder a USB connector, like a full-size one, and hopefully this just has like a standardized driver or something and will enumerate, so I can plug it into any like Android phone as well. That would be fantastic. Yeah, you can see the vias for the USB signals do just go over to the pins 2 and 3 on this connector. So yeah, I did a thing. I found a USB cord. I was going to make a separate video, but I'm like, screw it, why not just put it all in one video. So I soldered to those points, ground to ground, and then DM to the white wire, DP to the green wire, and then red goes to, I think they called it VB or something like that. And it's not pretty, but it's soldered. And when I plugged it into my phone, it said, when I just hit record just now, it said recording through USB mic. So that means it is recording through this, and it's getting power, and it is synced to my mic. So yeah, all this audio this whole time that I was talking is from this wireless mic right now. And I can, I've tested it out just in case it was still recording the internal audio. I walked into a different room and I spoke softly and I just ran a test and it works. So yeah, it's as easy as soldering 4 wires. You can turn this into like an Android compatible. I'm guessing this would work with PC as well because it's just a standard USB device. And so I'm going to have to cut a hole in the bottom of the case there to fit that wire. Now the only thing is this cable was from, I think it was like an Xbox 360 something. So it has a standard full-size USB port on the bottom. So I need to plug it into a Type-C to full-size USB adapter. But once I plugged it in, it works. So yeah, so I could have just tested this all along on this device and I didn't necessarily have to resort to this iTurd. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so now we can actually do a direct comparison of what sounds better, the audio that I'm recording right now versus the iTouch test audio that I took. So yeah, if you guys were interested, I guess if you have one of these and you wanted to turn it into a standard USB mic that happens to be wireless, you can now. And I'm probably the only person in the world who has tried this, at least at this point. Anyway, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It's really random, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.